All right, Ken, it's time for jokes. Hogwarts hat for black kids determines what gang they'll be in.
What's the difference between a pothole and a Puerto Rican? You'd swerve to avoid a pothole.
The cheating God stuff is mad funny. Putting their sins into chickens.
What are the real numbers? What really happened in World War II?
You run away
Brazil.
and they protect you.
This is indisputable as well.
Sign that off with the Talmud, baby.
And if you knock on my fucking door and threaten my family, whether you're a cop or whatever, you deserve to...
It's not happening.
How do you kill an Italian? Slam the toilet seat on his head when he's going to get a drink.
That's great. Oh my God.
From the break room of a disbanded think tank, recorded on a reel-to-reel machine in a mental institution gift shop, this is The Sam Hyde Show. Payload contents of tonight's show include memories recovered from inside a snow globe and a soldier who believes his bones are encrypted. And now, your host. He dreams in perfect Latin and screams in Vanta Black, Sam Hyde.
We're waiting for the titles to finish animating. Guys, tonight's guest is former U.S. Marine. No, it's not Jocko. You know how you know it's not Jocko? Because I'm not in jail yet. Former U.S. Marine turned outspoken peace activist known worldwide for his blunt, uncompromising criticism of pop music. Of Western foreign policy. Who wrote pop music? Why would you do that in the thing? He's been a key figure in multiple high-profile humanitarian missions, including the Gaza Freedom Flotilla, and he's appeared on international outlets like BBC, RT, and Press TV, usually causing the host to sweat through their suit jacket. His activism spans decades from environmental work to anti-war advocacy, and whether you agree with him or not, he's one of the most fiery and fearless commentators on geopolitics today. Please welcome Ken O'Keefe, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah! Ha ha! Oh yeah! Let's dig in. What was your childhood like? Why?
Oh, well, you know.
Don't answer that. Why would you write that?
That was the network.
What flavor ice cream do you like? There's people dying right now. We could talk about ice cream for half an hour to get warmed up.
Why not?
Should we go into your personal history? You want to talk about the Marines and whatnot?
That is sort of the red pill moment for me because I never had any intention of joining the military. I really didn't. But I remember Blockbuster. Remember that?
Yeah.
You used to go down to the Blockbuster and, you know, get the latest releases and whatnot. And I had wanted to see the movie, but I hadn't. And it came out in video a couple years after it was released in theater, but Full Metal Jacket. I had zero intention of joining the military. My dad was in the Navy and so on. And I had a job as a waiter in a French restaurant. I moved out of my mom's place. I was living a great life. But I sat there and I started watching Full Metal Jacket, which is like a documentary, literally. Like they filmed that at Paris Island where my brother Marcus over there, he went to boot camp and I went to MCRD in San Diego. But they actually put those actors through a mini boot camp. Literally, like you can't teach an actor how to march in unison and do formations and da-da-da-da. So anyway, that's how authentic that movie is. I was watching the movie and like in the first 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, that's what I need right there because I've always admired, you know, strong men and whatnot. And, you know, back in that day and the Marine Corps commercials were really good, honor, integrity, even using like the Knights of Arthur, you know, at the round table, like taking the oath and the few, the proud.
That's badass.
It worked.
I remember that era of old-fashioned Marines advertising on TV with like the sword. Was there a sword?
Yeah.
And some shining text?
I decided like that. And I told my mate who I was watching it with, I'm like, dude, I'm going to sign up. He didn't believe me.
Was your experience like this?
In a way. Yeah, there it is. That's it right there, honestly.
Was this what the being in the Marines was like?
Well, that's an officer, so we have to make a distinction between the officers and the enlisted guys. I was enlisted. It affected me. It did. It definitely did. And I didn't sign up for the Navy. I did not sign up for the Air Force. I did not sign up for the Army. I didn't even just sign up for the Marines. I'm not doing this to get some job after I get out. No, I'm doing this to be a man. And at that time, you know, while I wasn't the most blindingly stupid, false patriot idiot, I did see my nation as the greatest. Plus, my daddy didn't love me properly, right? My dad was an abusive father.
Nice.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I love him. God bless you, Dad. But he motivated me, right? Like, I will impress you, Dad. And he did. He was proud of me for about 5 minutes until I became a machine gunner, which is a really heavy responsibility in an infantry unit. Carried the M249 saw, and everything was going good, and I was earning my position. I made it up to E3, Lance Corporal.
What era is this, Ken?
So
What
I
year?
joined in 1989.
Okay.
And I got out in 92, and I went to the first Gulf War. But I remember when I went through boot camp and I took that oath, I remember feeling at that time like, this is serious, man. I mean, we're invoking God here, and this is an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic. I took that deadly serious, and I remember the oath having an impact on me. But one of the things they say all too ironically about the Germans, right? Just following orders. If you actually listen to the oath is you state your name, I, so-and-so, swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic, to bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to follow the orders of the President of the United States and the officers appointed over me, according to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. Now, within the oath, you have the Uniform Code, which is referred to, and within the Uniform Code, you have articles that make clear if you're given an unlawful order, your duty is to refuse the order. And if, to give an example of an unlawful order, say you have POWs, they've been disarmed, they're not a threat, and your commanding officer says, shoot him. That's a war crime. Now, if your officer in charge ordered you to execute a prisoner, that's an unlawful order.
Fuck. I'm sorry, I thought it was like a test. Unlawful order.
Your duty is not only to reject the order, but if you had an officer above you who was ordering you unlawfully to execute somebody, not only is your job to refuse the order, your job would be at that point to take your weapon. You're under arrest. Literally, as a lower ranking guy, your duty would be to put your commanding officer under arrest for the unlawful order. Now, if you play this out logically, why is the military not as strong as it used to be? Well, if you have abuse of power, just like we see through the halls of Congress, the corporate world, everywhere, nepotism and all this kind of crap. If we have a leadership that abuses power, what is the lesson? The lesson is that once you get ranked, screw over the lower ranks and get yourself the bigger cut of the pie. And there you have it.
That's a good idea.
Now,
Let me
if
write
we
that down.
have orders and we have leaders by example, that emboldens and it strengthens the military, makes it better. We've even had Hegseth. Look at that asshole.
What?
Hegseth.
He's like a Chad, though.
He is, literally, yeah.
He's got tattoos and whatnot, right?
He's an embarrassment.
He's got the Boondock Saints tattoos.
Did you watch when he got all...
The
they brought
Boondock
in-
Saints? Why do we not like Hegseth here? What's wrong with him? He's in Fight Club right there. Look at him. He's fucking awesome. This guy's badass.
Templar.
He's like Chet Hanks, kind of. What's wrong with him? What did he do bad?
He's pumping steroids, too. I can always see that shit.
That's weird. That's not.
We all are.
We got the unlawful order, and I'm the guy that was like, no, I didn't sign up to just follow orders. That's all too ironically what they say about the German Nazis, right? I refused the order. I reported my command, and I went from being the best Marine, literally, perfect PFT test, rifle, expert, third award, you name it. I was top game. But the moment I did that, and then I owned up to it, I said I was the guy that did it. My command did similarly to Private Pyle. Remember, Private Pyle was fucking up left, right, and center. Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, his drill instructor, was hammering him, which a lot of people misinterpret like, oh, that's going a bit too far. No, it's not. You're preparing people in Vietnam to go off to a bloody war that is going to be horrendous. And if you are not up to high standards, you will crumble. You will crumble at the moment of truth when you're dealing with your life on the line. You'll be the guy that will run and leave your man behind. You're the guy who is not the people that I look up to. The people I look up to are not the people who say, charge. No, they're the ones saying, follow me. That's the leader by example, ready to take the bullet first. That makes the military force stronger. And this is part of what I love about Adolf. I mean, the guy was an infantryman. I have 70 things in common with this guy. And it was only through my studies that I saw it. He was an infantryman. He was exposed to chemical weapons. He was also had an abusive father. He had a loving mother. He was a Catholic, But he was a warrior. He's been in a war. How many of these pencil-pushing, chicken hawk bastards send us off to wars? And one of the interviews I did many years ago, I had one of these guys, Washington mouthpieces, and he was talking about how we need to go into Syria, a la Iraq, to protect the people and all that. And I said to him, you are going to send more Americans off to die in more Israeli wars. I want you to send your kids, since you're supporting this, you send your kids and your grandkids off to that war.
Chris, I can juggle 2 things now. Did you know that? Where you going? Hang on a second. Nic Nac Naturals dissolvable nicotine lozenge. Their products are made with premium ingredients and they're manufactured in the USA. There is no big tobacco in the background. Nic Nac Naturals are crafted for the optimal flavor experience. No slimy pouch, no mystery ingredients. Just a black woman getting her ass beat. Yeah. Not because she's black. Okay, guys?
She's evil.
She's evil. I could tell from her eyes that she was a bad guy. Don't spit. You have to hold it in your mouth. That's how they work. Don't spit that out. That's worth money. That's like 3 cents worth of spit. Why did you do that?
I don't know.
Nic Nac Naturals are crafted for the optimal flavor experience. Nic Nac offers a range of straightforward flavors that don't try to hide what they are. Bright citrus, cool mint, just change the color so it looks like it's a different thing. Smooth berry. Right now, when you go to nicnac.com/Sam Hyde and use code SAM, you'll get 20% off all orders at checkout. That's promo code SAM for 20% off at nicnac.com/Sam Hyde. No unexpected fillers, just what's listed on the label. Don't explode your chest, but if you do need nicotine, these are good.
Nic Nac Naturals. These are good. Those of us who've been in war, there's nothing fucking glorious about this, man. The only glorious war would be one truly defending your nation and your family and your children and your wives and, you know, all of that, your national integrity. But what war have we fought in the last century that has been a defensive war? Not a single one. They're all offensive wars. And in more recent history, the first war that I was in, that was the first step of the Greater Israel Project. Why did we attack Iraq? Did they actually pose a threat against? No. But that's the number one link in the chain of Greater Israel. Iraq was target number one. Milikowski/Netanyahu said this himself.
Who's Milikowski?
Fake Jew from Poland who claims he has some sort of Semitic connection.
When you said fake Jew, why'd you point at Valentine?
You know how gay people have gaydar? I got Judar, man. I can spot that shit. By the time I got out of the Marine Corps, I was like, okay, Ken, you were wrong about the Marine Corps. What else are you wrong about? And that's where I got out of the Marine Corps and committed to 2 things. 1, I will never give up my freedom again for anybody. 2, truth became God to me. The truth is that you got fooled, motherfucker. You were a mercenary for the banksters. You were cannon fodder. You're one of the suicide victims, 22 a day and so forth. That's what you are, and you got used and abused. You were a fucking idiot, Ken. I don't like being an idiot. So I came out of the Marine Corps with a total dedication to truth, and I studied voraciously, and I read a multitude of books. And the further I got into it, I was like, dude, every single thing we've been told is bullshit. I'm a historian. I study history. I study philosophy. I study spirituality. And I test my theories, and I put myself in dangerous positions, and I don't have fear. And I only serve one master, and it's God. And he's going to judge me perfectly. He knows every single thing I've ever done. He knows my subconscious. He knows everything perfectly. He's my judge. He's the only one I submit to and answer to. Everybody else can go fuck themselves, quite frankly, especially if they want to intimidate me. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, it just was my red pill. And it set me on a course in the man you see today as a result of that. So I'm eternally grateful to the Marines. And I love the Marines. I don't hate the Marines. I love America. I know that what I'm doing is patriotic. And if we had more men who stood up and did the right thing, our country would not be in this shit show with rampant pedophilia, millions of missing children, Joe Biden touching kids, Donald Trump trying to cover for Epstein, pedophiles everywhere, millions of children missing. We as men are abject failures. I've been saying it, I'll keep repeating it. We as men have failed badly. We have not honored our most sacred duty to protect our children, to protect our women, to root out the enemies inside the gate, to stand up and do what men do. Don't back down. Don't submit to anybody but God. And even then, we have all the infiltration and subversion of so-called religion and whatnot. But for me, it was the greatest blessing ever. So I'm not bitter about it. I love the Marines. I really do. If we were ready to do an actual war to defend the homeland with real command and whatnot, I'd go back to boot camp today.
We should do one of those Andy Elliott courses.
Yeah.
You and me, let's go do that.
Let's do it, man. That would be fun.
Get one of these guys screaming in our faces, getting the hose.
One of the things that I would say is actually correct about Israel is that they do have mandatory service. Like everybody has to serve. You know, you have your refuseniks and whatnot who refuse, and God bless them. I think every young man in particular should be put through a boot camp type experience that really pushes you into very uncomfortable positions. Because one of the things as well that I love about the Marines, there's like a saying, it's like your toe hurts or you got a fever. I never ever reported in sick. I was always on duty as required, did my job. But look at all these whiny little bitch beta males we got running around here, whining about this or whining in the Marines. Quit your bitching, man. Get it done. What is this pussy-ass crap? Is your pity party bigger? I'm Irish, mate. They tried to fucking genocide us for 800 years. So you black folk and whatnot, get over yourself. I don't want reparations. I want to give a bloody nose to the bastard who wants to try and use me as the white. I am, right? I'm a white. I embrace that shit.
Now guys, this is an ad. Check the bar at the bottom. That's the ad progress timer. You'll notice we're almost a third of the way through, so it's not worth it to click ahead. Okay, so you've decided to kill a family of 4 trying to imitate something you saw in a Japanese cartoon. Good. First, you're gonna need to buy a badly flood-damaged car off Facebook Marketplace from a hot girl drifter.
You're so cool. Could you show me how to drift? I only know how to wrench on these cars. I built this myself. My dad and brothers showed me about cars, so you could show me how to drive.
It's not a hot girl, it's AI. You got scammed again, but you got the car, you're good to go. Now pay attention, because here comes the important part. Once you actually hit the track and the car's braking every 20 freaking minutes, you're gonna wanna go to Chase Bays. Chase Bays makes high-end motorsport fluid transfer products. These are not one-size-fits-all universal products, though they have those too. These are kits for your car. You don't need to do a bunch of shit to get it to fit right. It's just there, in the box, ready to go. Crankcase pressure, fuel delivery, inconsistent power brakes, you need a handbrake, you need a catch can. Chase Bays has it. They even have Luke Valentine rolling his muscles out. If you ask nice enough. Every part is tested on track by Chase Bays and over 10,000 customers. They have over 8,000 5-star ratings. Every hose is individually pressure tested by them in their shop. And because the seller isn't located in Wangzong, it shows up actually fitting the car. If you're tired of fighting your car, or if you just want a good-looking engine bay, go to chasebays.com. Get the kit for your chassis. If you don't know what you're doing, their site literally walks you to the right kit for your application. Or you just want Luke Valentine rubbing his muscles. They got pictures on the site. Look at that. Chase Bays. Spend your day driving, not fixing.
Well, that was a great product. I'm really excited that we get to use these products, and the company that it was just talked about, they're pretty good people. Now, why is peace the end of the Jewish project?
Brought to you by My Pillow.
Brought to you by... Why is peace the end of the Jewish project? Brought to you by My Pillow.
Shall I answer?
Yeah, please.
The only winners in war are the bankers. Bankers love war. Maybe that explains why we're constantly at war. Because I tell you what, the guys who lose their legs, the guys who commit suicide, the guys who become drug addicts because the military just doses them with a bunch of drugs, they're not winning. They die of starvation and diphtheria and cholera and all the things that come with war. Their limbs are blown off and their lives are destroyed. Their trauma is deep. Who wins? The bankers.
Why are we at war?
Number one, us dumbass goyim are fighting Jewish wars so we can be fighting each other. And as long as us dumbass goyim are sitting here fighting each other, then they're laughing. They're laughing like, look at those dumb goy. Look at them. We got the blacks against the whites. We got the Muslims against the Christians. We got everybody fighting everybody. Meanwhile, they're laughing about it. Plus, in war, who makes money in war? Well, the defense contractors. Who owns that? Who's BlackRock and Vanguard? Oh, it's that fucking group again. Who wins when you build the weapons that are then sold that we pay for with our taxes? We then invade countries. We destroy lives. We create hatred. We foster terrorism. And then they make money on the front end, investing in the weapons in the war. Then they make money during the war, selling the defense contractors, getting all that. Then they make money in the reconstruction after the war. And who's financing all of that? The bankers. So of course they love war.
You're saying the Jews like war because it sort of causes the rest of the world to be in disarray. Is this what you're sort of saying?
That's certainly a big part of it, yeah.
And Jews like that, why?
I've said this for decades. The last thing, what we were told about the Jewish state of Israel was that they had no partner in peace. The Muslims are all a bunch of fanatical, Western hating, they hate us for our freedoms, terrorists. That's what Palestinian was synonymous with terrorists. So they have us believing that they were the ones that were reasonable, but they don't have a reasonable partner in peace. The fact is that peace is the end of the Jewish project, the absolute end. A just peace, no less, would end their Jewish supremacist ethno-state, literally. You're indebting the nation. You are pitting people against each other, so that fosters the whole goyim fighting each other when they should be uniting.
Indebting the nation is to pay for the war. Yeah. You need to borrow money. Is that what that means?
Wars are bloody expensive. Very expensive.
And you don't just pay cash for that. How do you pay for it? You borrow money?
Who prints the money also charges interest for us to get the money, which John F. Kennedy ended, and then, well, something happened to him. The business of war achieves many things, but with regard to Israel and why peace would be the end of their project, we also need to look at things like the tactics of the Middle East. And very famously, in more than one interview, the Project for a New American Century laid this out, the so-called neocons. They wanted to do everything they've done since this so-called war on terror. And they famously said that we need a, quote, new Pearl Harbor type event.
Who said that?
That was like Wolfowitz and all the other Jewish neocons, Wolfowitz being one of the top Gs. Cheney would be your Shabbos Goy, and that note, always a servant to them. Mm-hmm. But he was also behind that kind of agenda.
A servant with gold chains, a servant with golden boots.
Yeah, he just died. I did not cry an extra tear for Dick Cheney at all. If you look at the Middle East, what they said, there's something called Oded Yunan's strategy for Israel in the 1980s.
Setting the goyim against one another. Why does that benefit Jews?
Because it ensures that we'll never unite. They say the 1%. They're not even 1%. They're 0.2%. If we did unite in any meaningful way, we could overpower them like that. Boom, done. But we don't. We're fighting each other. One boogeyman after another, constantly propped up in front of us. So now we're sending the best of our own sons and daughters, especially the sons, off to fight wars. At the end of it, we get high suicide rates, depression, all the poisons that are used in war. I'm a human guinea pig as well. The first Gulf War, George Bush Sr. Here's another little interesting tidbit. They say Adolf Hitler experimented on humans. That's what they say. Well, George Bush Sr. ordered us in a time of war to be injected with a raft of what is admittedly, provably, undeniably experimental drugs, supposedly to protect us. That is exactly what they accuse Adolf Hitler of. Involuntary human experiments. That is exactly what George Bush Sr. did to me, and also to my brother Marcus over here, who's also served as a Marine.
Did Hitler not do experiments on human beings?
The most controversial things you could say is his belief was that a form of eugenics. Like if you're born as whatever what we used to call like retards, mongoloids or whatever.
So Hitler he euthanized mongoloids?
What he said was that we should sterilize them.
Do people with retardation, do they fuck?
They do.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Show.
Is that a thing?
I thought that there was laws against some of them.
What about all the Muslims in America and Europe that suck?
Call them out. If you're grooming young
Can we
girls,
call them out and also eject them from the country?
I believe in law. So if you have lawfully been born in this country, we cannot eject you according to the law based on your spiritual practice. That would be completely counter to the teachings and the obligations and duties under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
The alternative is being outbred.
Well, there you go.
So you
There's
gotta pick
Europa,
one.
the last battle, and that's all about the white genocide. Yes, us white folk are dying out, flat out. We're in deep shit, actually.
So
we
you don't
better
think
start making some babies quick.
So you don't think it would be unlawful to eject people based on their spiritual beliefs from our countries?
Is it Muslim power that's fucking us up?
Yeah.
Give me a break, man.
Partially, yeah.
If we're to compare objectively abuse of Muslim power and influence in America to the Jewish power, it's silly, actually. It's even insulting. It is very clear which of the three monotheistic religions wields the power, and it ain't Muslim.
If you go to one of these neighborhoods where Muslims have planted their roots, they do have the power. In places in Texas where they're building mega mosques and Dearborn, Michigan, and these the Somalian enclaves and they have the power. That's what they do. They don't run the TV stations, but they have power in numbers where they are.
This is favorable to the Jews to get into the disproportionate threat that this group of people that you're talking about, because the vast majority of Muslims are not doing what you're talking about. The vast majority of them are going to the mosque. They're practicing their faith. They are praying to the same God as us. They believe Jesus is king and he's coming back. They love Mother Mary. That's the majority of Muslims right there.
Europe is completely ruined.
It is, but that's because of Jewish wars in Muslim fucking nations that creates refugees that then flood into our country, which, by the way, the Jews have been saying that. Barbara Lerner Specter, have you seen her? Mm-hmm. What she said? Europe will not survive unless it embraces the multicultural agenda. She said it flat out.
I think there's a resurgence of anti-Semitism because at this point in time, Europe has not yet learned how to be multicultural. And I think we're going to be part of the throes of that transformation, which must take place. Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
They create the wars based on false flags to kill a bunch of Muslims, which they don't like. They then get all these military-age guys who are not like sex-starved and coming over to our countries like Sweden, looking at these hot Swedish blonde chicks, and now they're committing rape. This is a problem, but let us address the root of the problem. First off, if we had actual law and we weren't invading nations based on false pretext, there'd be no justification for all you Muslims coming here in the first place. But we have invaded their nations. We have committed war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, torture, you name it, we've been doing it. So who the fuck are we to sit and bitch about the Muslims who've come here when we fucking destroyed their countries? And who's behind that agenda? But we're going to focus on the Muslim? I'm not suggesting that you give a pass to people because they're Muslims. Hell no. If you're grooming children and you're caught in that shit, first off, let's beat the fucking shit out of you.
They're grooming children and they're caught in that shit and nobody's beating the fuck out of them because the rule of law has been totally evaporated.
Once again, who's behind the pedophilia? Who controls the porn industry? Fucking rabbis and all. Who fucking mutilates a child's penis and then sucks the bloody penis of a child and gives the child herpes because he's a destitute piece of shit synagogue of Satan disciple? This is a real problem.
You met Timothy, the bloody penis sucker?
Literally. What kind of people do this, man? Who the hell told you God wants you to mutilate the foreskin of a child and then suck its bloody penis and give it herpes? This is about a synagogue of Satan as you get. I'm not saying give a pass to the Muslims that are acting in an un-Islamic way, but let's be clear. Those that are doing these things, these Muslims that we're citing, those people are not Muslims. That is not Islamic. As a perfect example of that, by the way, Hamas, which I defended 100%, love and respect. I know what I would do if somebody was invading my nation and raping my people and torturing my people. Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, the military wing who died. You remember seeing the video of him?
No.
That's a man for you. What would you do if someone was invading your country, raping, pillaging, stealing everything, lying about you, making you out like you're the terrorist? What would I do? I know what I would do. You couldn't pay me to be nonviolent. No fucking way. Sign me up, man. And what kind of man would sit there and turn a blind eye and roll over and be the coward? And how the fuck does that give your people any pride that you would do that? Fight, no matter what the odds. How many times did we hear 40 beheaded babies and rape? Didn't we not hear that over and over and over and over?
Well, they showed that Burger King AI picture.
Brisket.
Do you remember that?
The Burger King AI?
Yeah, brisket.
When that stuff happened, they came out with this picture that was, they said it was a dead baby that Hamas killed.
Right.
And it looked like fucking brisket.
Yeah.
It was also obviously AI generated. It was a pretty awesome moment of Twitter history.
But here's the point I want to make with regard to Muslims and Hamas. First off, why do people say the Hamas? Hamas means Islamic resistance. That's what it means. By the way, it is not just exclusively Muslim resistance. There are Christian and agnostic resistance factions within Palestine, including the PFLP and the DFLP and other such things. Largely in the West Bank, it's very secular actually. But nonetheless, getting back to the Muslims, they were accused, Hamas, of raping and beheading babies. Even Joe Biden, remember when he said, I never thought I'd see children being beheaded. Remember him saying that? That was the president of the United States who said he saw video of that. And they even invited Candace Owens, remember? Like, will you come over? You know, come on over. And then people who have taken him up on that, who've seen the videos, have said on record, like, they didn't show us shit. You didn't show us a damn thing establishing any kind of credibility to any of these accusations. And famously, there were some really hot, like really, we're talking like hot Israeli chicks that were taken as POWs back to Gaza and in the custody of Hamas. And you know what happened when they got released? Not only were they not beaten and clearly tortured, they were protected to the point where even one of those Israeli POW chicks, like really gorgeous, like a very attractive.
I don't want to hear that.
She is, nonetheless. And anyway, what she said was when they were getting bombed by the Hannibal Directive, right? So this is the Jewish state killing its own.
Is this something we can look up? Is this something we can see on the computer?
You absolutely can.
This?
You absolutely can. If you Google Israeli hostage or POW, when she got out, she literally said, not only did they not rape, they actually gave coverings to these women because the Israeli women, they're showing their cleavage. They are the honey traps. They do this game. But in Islam, it's not proper. Like, I've been to Iran.
Who's Kash Patel's girl?
What's her name again?
Chingwa.
Oh, that's crazy.
She's confirmed an Israeli agent.
100%, yeah.
And I have confirmation of that.
Unit, what is it?
Unit Shlabab that she's from. Also, she's not hot, okay? She just has fucking splitter face, whatever you call that. People got to switch their standard for what they call hot. That fucking thing.
The vampire from VHS, remember that?
No, but this stupid, you see that stupid looking thing is hot.
What about Laura Loomer? Boy, there's a winner.
I don't really want to.
She looks like a horror movie character.
All right.
We have a law on the show to not. It was a fact.
An anti-Laura Loomer law.
Yeah.
I don't want her crawling around in the parking lot out there trying to jump on my cock and ride it like a fucking bug. What?
Just to finish the point.
Yeah.
If you believe that you have a judge and that judge's name is God or Allah.
I don't believe the judge's name is Allah.
Creator, Father, whatever
I'd
works
probably
for
go
you.
with God.
If you understand the concept and accept the concept that you will be judged perfectly, the whole world may think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but God will know everything you've done. He'll know not only what you've done, he knows your intentions, he knows your subconscious, he knows everything. And what I love about God more than anything else is that I do have free will, and I love that. To me, that's synonymous with being a parent. Every parent, most parents anyway, they have a vision of what they want their kids to be. We want the best for our kids, and we think, we want you to go this way or that way. And classically, like one of your children might get with a guy or a girl, and you just know this person is toxic, narcissistic, like destructive force. But you have to accept the fact that that's up to your child now, and they're going to have to make that mistake themselves, and you have to let it happen. But the point is that if you understand that there is a judge and that you will be judged, and there is a spiritual destination, and that destination is eternal, then you would start to put these things above all else, not materialism. Which, are you going to take your Rolls Royce and your Bentley and your diamonds to the next realm? No, you're not.
Is that not possible?
I'll bet they're trying to figure out a way, but so far I'm not seeing any evidence to support that. Hamas, the terrorist accused of rape, did not only not rape, they protected these women and gave them clothing and coverage because it's not appropriate to be sitting there ogling over a chick.
You're worried about rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried to get raped.
Oh, of course.
That old lady's getting chills.
Fortunately enough, they didn't do it.
She was given a hijab that covered most of her body.
There you go.
Just in the mind of an old lady where it's like the word rape is like, ooh. I'm sorry, that's too far. Nobody agreed with me. My bad. Okay, so they did not rape the good-looking...
You know who does rape women?
Jewish...
The Jews. Do you know where they get to go when they rape our children? Back to the Jewish state. Do you know how many fucking pedophiles are hanging out in Israel with no extradition treaties?
A lot.
And we're going to sit here and talk about Muslims?
5.
How many fucking Muslims are in the executive branch and like all of the moneyed industries, BlackRock, Vanguard, all of it? And we're sitting here talking about Muslims and giving way too much to the Jew argument. Again, I'm not suggesting that the Muslims who are coming here and trying to create their own little Bantu stands of Islamic, Sharia law and all this kind of crap. I'm not saying that we turn a blind eye, and no, we should create laws that make this clear. If you don't wish to integrate into our Christian nation, you can practice your religion, but if you're trying to push that to the point that you're trying to turn us into Islamic, fuck you. There's ways to deal with that, but that is not the threat when you compare it to the Jews.
That viewpoint that you're saying is not a thing that could ever happen.
I agree.
Okay.
Jewish power can happen. It's right here, right now.
Okay.
And they hate our Savior. They think Mother Mary is a whore, and they believe that we're their slaves. And they have the right to rape us, as we've seen. Literally. They are on videotape raping Muslims, killing them by sticking hot metal rods into them, up into their upper intestines, into their chest cavity.
Where'd that happen?
Literally, this has happened, verifiably. There is no Muslim saying that they have a right to rape us.
I'm open to everything you're saying, but what you just said, there's no Muslim saying they have the right to rape us.
They're not citing
absolutely
Islam or, any Muslim who says or thinks that they have a right to rape us is not basing that on Islam at all.
Sure, but that doesn't matter. That's like a semantic distinction.
It's not semantic because the Jews have within their Talmud the right to rape us. 100%, indisputably, undeniably. You find me one thing in the Quran that would in any way justify anything like that. What you'll find if you study it truly is that it's the opposite of that.
Yeah, I just don't care about what a book says. My point is that there are Muslims doing rapes.
Okay, if you don't care about a book, it doesn't change the fact that within their book or their spiritual practice, just like Christianity, there is no condition at which you have the right to rape somebody else. And certainly not because you're chosen.
I'm not saying that the Talmud is good or that Jews are good. I'm just saying...
I hope not.
That they're okay. They're pretty good. They're pretty cool guys. No, I'm just saying that if your holy book says that you have to be a stockbroker and whistle through a kazoo and eat Skittles, and then if you're an adherent of that religion, even if you're not a good adherent, if you go around raping people, it just means that this is like a group of people that are bad, and it doesn't matter what their holy text is or what their whatever.
Well, doesn't it?
No.
Why, if Christianity taught me that I have the right to rape because I'm a chosen one, I would have rejected it.
We're just talking about groups of people, like demographic, racial groups of people. It's not even about the religion. It's just brown people.
It makes a difference that the Talmud lays out the Talmudic Noahide laws that literally say We are all unchosen goyim slaves that have the right to rape us. Keep in mind, I've lived in the West Bank and Gaza. I have met the people who resist, and every single one of them has been tortured and raped when they're in prison. This is normal.
Is this the thing where they put the shields up to block the cameras?
The story to this is that there is an Israeli politician in the intelligence agencies that actually leaked this footage, okay? Otherwise, we wouldn't have it.
The footage of the shields going up to protect the abusers, okay.
Yes. So what happened was, this is revealing too much about this actual spiritual practice of these people that Jesus rightly referred to as those who say they are Jews, but they are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. Satan, if we understand Satan to be an actual entity, what does Satan want to do? He wants to defile and destroy everything sacred and pure and innocent that God created. Let's just focus on Jewish power, its extent, the damage, its control over our government, its indebting of us financially, its never-ending, ceaselessly lustful desire for war, its 9/11, the USS Liberty, the Lavon Affair.
What's the Lavon Affair?
The Lavon Affair was a plot to carry out false flags in the Islamic world to then frame them so that it would be able to foster what I referred to earlier, the Greater Israel Project, which is also articulated in Oded Yinan's A Strategy for Israel. They lay all this out in writing, and they're playing it out observably, indisputably, in real time. And the genocide, by the way, is no different in 2023 to that which was declared in 1933. What happened in 1933? Judea declares war on Germany. 14 million Jews of the world unite, calling for the destruction of Germany. I have a book called Germany Must Perish by Kaufman, who created that word Nazi. And in that book, it is the same as what they have done in 2023. They have said, kill every last man, woman, and child, the livestock, everything. Completely exterminate them.
In 1933?
Judea declares war on Germany.
Judea declares war on Germany?
14 million Jews of the world unite, calling for the... By the way, there were about 16 million Jews at that time, so they had uniform agreement, just like they do in Israel. Do you know how many of the people in Israel support open genocide and even nuking Gaza? About 98%. Is it 98% Muslims that think that America should be exterminated? No. That was the second largest circulation newspaper in the world. That is the Jews openly declaring their genocidal intent against Germany. By that logic alone, Adolf would have had a legitimate right and actually a duty to arrest all of them and deport them and get the fuck rid of them. You guys say you want to exterminate us.
It says, yes, the headline, Judea declares war on Germany, was published as the front page story in the Daily Express, a British newspaper.
When did the brown shirts come into power?
1933. Adolf Hitler came part of a coalition government that became National Socialism, blah, blah, blah. I can go on about it, but...
Why did they declare war on Germany in 1933? What is that?
Because he posed a real threat to their power. So you read Mein Kampf, which was published in 1925. I've read it. I know what he said. And that's why they knew, like, dude, this guy's going to actually stand up to us. He's actually a veteran. He's actually a war hero. And he speaks great, and the women love him, like JFK. He was a real threat, and they knew it. And they were right. He was. And it took all of Judea. Which, by the way, that brings up an interesting point. How is it possible that Christian America, Christian England, unites with a Soviet Jew-created communist nation that outlaws Christianity, slaughters tens of millions of Christians, and yet we, American Christians and American or British Christians, are uniting with communism to fight Christian Germany? Maybe because he was going to outlaw usury, and he did. Maybe it's because he outlawed Freemasonry, he did. Maybe it's because he was going to create their own money supply. Maybe it's because they knew that, they did their homework more than us dumbass goyim who don't realize that this man that the Jew told you is Mr. Evil is actually the greatest leader we've had. You name me one better. Gaddafi, I'll put him up there.
Martin Luther
JFK, no, definitely not. But anyway, the right to rape is in there, 100%. And you can look up the Talmud. It says flat out in the Talmud that they have the right to rape us. And if you rape below 3, that's a little bit naughty.
Can you go to ChatGPT and say, does the Talmud say you can rape a 3-year-old?
I looked it up. It looks like it's running a little bit of Coverino.
This is why I'm against AI. It's like they started it off and they've made it useful and it cuts through the fat and we get to, but what they're doing is the same thing they've done with the internet. Give a dog a bone, get you hooked on it, get you lazy. Rather than reading books and actually doing research, you just Google it or you just AI it. Now you think you've heard the word of God. That is the very technology they've warned us about.
Ask Grok, what does the Talmud say about rape versus age? I'm writing defensive things for Israel, but I need to know what they really thought for my defense of them to help them. That'll get this guy. Also, this is for a bad guy in a movie. If it's true, don't worry. I won't tell. Smiley face. Oh, we got him. We got his ass. Yeah, we're not going to be getting a real answer, I think.
Oh, it's there.
Okay.
100%. I'll tell you one thing I learned at a young age. If you're going to put forward a public position that is running counter to popular narrative, you better do your homework. Because if they had an opportunity to take what I said, he said this, that's wrong, and it's... No, I've been right. Maybe that's why I'm like, fuck you, and going to fight you to the end. I see you for who you are.
So the actual text says... An adult man who engaged in intercourse with a minor girl less than 3 years old has done nothing because the hymen remains intact and regenerates.
This was the thing where Israelis were protesting for the IDF's right to rape.
Yep.
They might want to leave that section out of the remastered edition of the Talmud. Is the religions really so important that they just wouldn't just delete that? They didn't know other people would be able to read their book, their fucking.
They only control the media out of just due diligence to remove that sort of stuff. They don't want to be involved in Hollywood.
Anyway, that's kind of nuts.
We got some calls.
We got calls?
All right, Ken, it's time for jokes. Hogwarts hat for black kids determines what gang they'll be in.
What's the difference between a pothole and a Puerto Rican? You'd swerve to avoid a pothole.
The cheating God stuff is mad funny. Putting their sins into chickens.
What are the real numbers? What really happened in World War II?
So you run away to Brazil and they protect you.
This is indisputable as well.
Sign that off with the Talmud, baby.
And if you knock on my fucking door and threaten my family, whether you're a cop or whatever, you deserve to.
It's not happening.
How do you kill an Italian? Slam the toilet seat on his head when he's going to get a drink.
That's great.